For example, we have the near approaching Ganapati festival. The image is placed in front of us, or else before that the Mangala Gauri Vrata, the Kalasha is placed, and we meditate and we say, Varasiddhivinayakasya Jivaha, Mama Jivaha, Varasiddhivinayakasya Pranaha, Mama Pranaha, Varasiddhivinayakasya Shrotre, Mama Shrotre, Varasiddhivinayakasya Vang, Mama Vak, Varasiddhivinayakasya Mano, Mama Manaha, Asmin Bimbe, Asmin Kalashe, Mama Pranaha, Ishwasa Rupena, Bahiragatya, Yavat Bojavasanakam Sukena, Chiram Tishtantu Swaha. Like that we say, my own spirit, my own life, my own self may come in the form of my exhalation and reside in this image or in this kalasha or whatever identity here is there till the end of the puja and receive that offering. Means what? Myself is invoked there and I am being worshipped by myself. This way of respecting the highest truth within and invoking it externally, that happens even in the temples also. And the worshipper's quality is very, very important. That's why it is said, Archakasya Prabhavena Shila Bhavati Shankaraha. It's only the worshipper who infuses so much of spirit and strength to the God. See, if you don't have much faith, respect, and love in what we say, we cannot inspire. If I am unable to get inspired by my own learning, who can else get inspired? If I cannot enjoy whatever I am doing, I can never make others enjoy. Unless I am happy in the spiritual sense, I can never even think of making others happy. This is the truth behind the agamas and all that. And there, so many details are there. Those details may be of no use or little use or insignificant or even trivial or may make no scientific reason and rhyme or sense today. But some of the sidelights which are profoundly great, especially in today's ecological idea, they have to be noticed. But again, I am saying, just because some features are very important today, we are carried away by those or such features in our texts. We are doing great lot of injustice to them. Tomorrow, some other feature may be of use, then we may be hopping from this to that. So, try to respect that and be open-minded. In the Agamas, before building a temple, the land has to be chosen. How to choose that land? You should not be occupied by trees. You should not be occupied by ant hills. You should not have nearby vicinity any home, any palace. Means nobody should get disturbed by this arena. And then if a tree has to be chopped off for the purpose of Dvajastambha, many qualifications are laid down. One such qualification is no birds should have built any nest there. And no snakes or other reptiles should dwell there. Means we should not disturb them. And that sense of respecting the larger creation other than the Homo sapien race is so predominant in our texts. In the Vedas, the same thing is prescribed for the Yajnashala also. Before plucking a plant, Atharvaveda says, Oshadhe nastrayasya saptadhavardhayamo vayam, wo plant, we are plucking off for some of our purposes. Before that, we have planted 7 of your saplings, so may you permit us to pluck. Like that. Like that we have, in the Naradiya Vishnu Smriti, it is clearly said, a person, before taking a dip in a holy pond, he should take 3 morsels of silt from that and throw it out. For every dip, he has to do that. Means natural desilting should happen. So the water sources are preserved intact. Like that we have many such things, many such wonderful awareness for ecology and other things are there. And even before building a house, the Kshetra Puja is done. And there we are offering so many balis, means worship to the animals and plants which are naturally some bushes and some shrubs will be there. We have to chop off that. Some or the other insects will be there. We may be driving out, or while digging for the foundation, many earthworms and other animals may die. We have to quench their curses, and we are begging them, and we have to take permission of that. Means just by paying 50 lakhs or 1 crore to a piece of 30, 50 or 40, 80 or some such land and getting my name registered in the register sub-register office, I may get the economic position but not the spiritual position. For getting the spiritual position, I should undergo this course, means I have to care so much for the rest of the creation. That is not seen in Semitic religions. See, it is there. God created man. Before that, he created the world and said it is for your enjoyment, including women. Here we never say that. The whole creation is expression of God. And if at all we are violating the limitation, with great lot of difficulty we are doing. And this itself should become the right juncture to point out the Pancha Mahayajnas, which every householder should practice. Violence is part of life. Violence is an inseparable aspect of creation. One is becoming the food of the other. Food is anna and the consumer is annada. Consummate is anna, annada vyavastha, that is consumer consummate order is there, is always there. We cannot ignore that. So when we are product of that system, we cannot overcome that. Only thing is, at the most, we may reduce it and we may have an apologetic view on that. We may develop guilt in our hearts and try to do whatever little justice possible from our end. This is how we have to realize the features. This is Annada Vyavastha called Agni Shomiya Mandala in the Vedas and in the other texts like Yoga Vasishtha. Agni is Annada, the consumer, and Soma is the consummate, that is Anna. Like that, I think I remember once I told Brahmana is never coming under the rule of anybody in that sense. Truly spiritual person, honest intellect, is not at all answerable to any political or materialistic establishment. He is answerable only to the cosmic establishment, that is the cosmic order, Vrita. He should not go astray. See, whatever may be the debate behind the Janlokpal, here we see that in Anna Hazare, the true spirit of Brahmana is there. Brahma is there. I am not subordinate to anybody. I am not answerable to anybody. A selfless person of awareness and wisdom is not answerable to anybody, but he should answer one and all. Means he should give clarifications then and there, but none can compel him. As Krishna says, Name Parthasti Kartavyam Trishulokeshu Kinchana Nanavaptavyam Aptavyam Vartayevacha Karmani. Every householder, for that matter, everybody, every creature in this world has to depend on the other thing. That is there, that is Hinsa. But human beings, they have values. While the rest of the world, the creation, it has only instincts. Animals and other things, they work on instincts. They have only Chodana. But we have Dharma. That's the value. Artha. Purusharthas. And because of the value, we change our practices. See, the first crow which came on this planet built its nest in one manner, and even today it is building in the same way. It has never consulted any architect. It will go on with that. It will never change. But we have, starting from the caves, we have built so many. So when we have a way of changing, when we have a way of modifying and adopting and other things, we have to care so much and we are answerable. This way of self-control and self-assessment and analysis and correction is seen in the spirit of Panchamaha Yajnas. It is said every home is a slaughterhouse in 5 manners, 5 ways. In the cooking place, that is the fireplace, and in the grinding place, pounding place, watering place, and cleaning place. We use so many sprays and other things to kill so many insects and other pests. There we have one Sunagraha. Sunagraha means slaughterhouse. The other one is purification of water. We use so many disinfectants and other things. And then pounding and the rice and other things means for production of grains and other things, we use so much of violence and so much of himsa going on. And even the creation, that is the vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food, whatever, it's all violation, product of violence. Then crushing it, grinding it, and then cooking it. We are burning the firewood. And for the sake of biofuel or whatever fuel, we are deforesting so much and we are creating so much of violence in the existence. So totally all are reduced to 5 or 50 or 5,000. We have violence. For this, because we can't wipe off it, we have to practice 5 yagas. That is Brahma Yajna, Deva Yajna, Rishi Yajna, Pitri Yajna, Bhuta Yajna and Manushya Yajna. Rishi Yajna is included in Brahma Yajna itself. Brahma Yajna means that way of acquiring knowledge, distributing it, sharing it. That is acquiring the wisdom and then selflessly sharing with the needy. And then Deva Yajna is establishing faith and following that order, respecting the cosmic order in nature and then following it, practicing it. We have to restore the faith that is in Deva Yajna. I told faith does miracles. But at the same time, we should have an awareness. This awareness comes from Brahma Yajna. And in the light of Brahma Yajna, we have to do Deva Yajna. The respecting gods and offering them. And then Pitri Yajna, respecting the elders who are living and who are departed too. Not just our physical progeny and the ancestors. Even the ancestors in learning, that is called Vidya Vamsha. Not just the physical progeny, the lineage of wisdom. Both have to be respected. And respecting the elders. All our duties towards senior citizens, everything that is taken care of in that. And then we have the Manushya Yajna. Respecting the fellow human beings and trying to respond positively for their needs and difficulties. And then respecting the rest of the creation and then trying to restore that is Bhuta Yajna. So these 5 yajnas have to be performed by one and all. This is how the Pataka of Pancha Sunagraha is emancipated. It's a wonderful concept. And in Manusmriti, for the first time, we have a very beautiful, elaborate description of that. Why I am saying these things? In the Agamas also we do find. In the Shrutis, Vedas we do find. Even in the Puranas we do find. And even in the Itihasas. How a person should behave means, if he thinks of Panchamaha Yajnas, it's enough. Many times people ask me, what is the advice for a common man like me, something like that. I only say, take the spirit of Panchamaha Yajnas and try to do whatever possible in that direction. The format may change, the form may change, but the spirit has to live. And if we restore the form, one beauty is there. We will be identifying an unbroken tradition, and that itself is so elevating. See, long ago I used to feel so gratified having learned Sanskrit, just having read these things. I feel one with those seers and sages and all. That Saraswati dried up long ago, before 5,500 years. But even today I am reciting the mantras and I am using that language which was used by the people who were moving on the banks of Saraswati when it was fully flowing as wide as 15 kilometers at certain places. The oldest language on earth I am using. The finest expression of that I am able to use. That is a way of gratifying my own self, and that is very much needed to sustain me. If not, I may die in depression. I may die in frustration. I may die in so many ways of my own problems. To overcome that is very, very important. You see, if not, when I first went to Kashi and walked on the pavements of ghats like Manikarnika, Chausetti Ghat or Asi Ghat, Varna Ghat, Tulsi Ghat, Hanuman Ghat, Harishchandra Ghat, Dashashwamedh Ghat and others. I know by history, from history, that it's all built by Rani Ahalya Bai Holkar. But that is my head saying. But my heart and my feeling, on these pavements Buddha walked, on these pavements Mahavira walked, on these pavements Vrishabhadeva walked, on these pavements Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, Vallabha, Nimbarka, Vivekananda, all the great luminaries of our tradition, they walked, and all the dust, sacred dust of their feet, it is still on that. That is the feeling which I got. And that is a mental poetic feeling that is also important. And if not, I can't relate myself with Kashi. If not, I will be seeing only Kashi, the dead city, Kashi, the worst city, Kashi, where the Ganga is flowing with corpse floating on that, like that. See, that's what. When I was hesitant to take a dip in Ganga, one person said, Ganga Maiya, Ganda kabhi nahi hogi. Bhai Sahab, jaiye, dekhiye, Mangal Snan kare. Like that he said. Means such faith is also important. It should not be rational, it should not be completely devoid of reason and rhyme. But that is also part of it. If we don't have that much of faith, we can't even love our children. We can't even celebrate their birthdays. We can't even remember our forefathers. So, balancing reason and faith is a challenge, especially modern man's challenge. For that, Panchamaha is a very great approach. So, in the Agamas, we have such things which are very much relevant to our purposes. And even the temple tradition. A temple is a living museum. Museum is only built for a dead culture. Zoo is only for an artificial compulsion, artificial enclave for animals. They are not natural. But in temples, so many things they happen in reality. It's not of a past thing. Day before yesterday, I had gone to Chikmagalur, and on the way, I just visited, I could make a short visit to Belur. I came to know that now Annadana has started there every day. More than 1,000 people every day, they have food there, food offered free of cost. And all the Vyavastha is made for that. And I could know from the local people that the temple festivals are very well performed. I was very happy because generally the tourist sites, especially the archaeological sites, and they are very well restored by the Archaeological Survey of India, they are beautiful, neat, clean, but no God, no worship, nothing. I get pained. There are no more living temples. You just see, except the Virupaksha temple in Hampi, no other temple is a living temple. Only few temples like Yantrodhara and Rama and others, all are no more living. And even Halebid is no more living temple. Like that, there are hundreds and hundreds. But Belur temple is a living temple. I got so much of satisfaction. And I went around in a hurry. I came back for I had no time. I had seen many times. I again wish to go once again and watch every details even once more and enjoy that with my friends. Here, there, we have 3-tiered temple structure. Lowest, we have the elephants, and then the swans, and then the crocodiles, and horses, and then the lions, and then the creepers. This is how we have the 7-tiered basement. DVG calls that as Jiva Prapancha. The carnivorous animals being represented by lion, the herbivorous animals represented more in number, that is elephant and horse indicating power too, and vigor and dignity, and then the animals which fly, the birds represented by swan, and the aquatic animals represented by a powerful one, representative, the crocodile. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Jashanam Makaraschasmi, as one representative, a very powerful animal. And then from the plant kingdom, a creeper. So the animal and plant kingdom represented there. And then we have the gods, images of gods, and the Puranic stories and the epic stories, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and all that is the Deva Prapancha, the iconographic feature of that. And then above that we have the beautiful Madanikas, the dancing girls, the Apsaras or Salabhanjikas or Surasundaris or whatever you call, all are there beautifully. The Mukurmugdha, the lady with the mirror, or the Gana Jivana, the girl singing, or the Nagaveena Dharini, a lady playing lute, and then Murali Mugdhe, a one playing flute, and Leela Nishadi, a huntress. Like that, we have more than 60 Madanikas there. That is the Bhava Prapancha. All are very important. The Jiva Prapancha, the realistic one, the Deva Prapancha, the world of belief, and the Bhava Prapancha, that's our feelings. Bhava Prapancha is Anubhava. Jiva Prapancha is, that is experience, value, and Jiva Prapancha is information, fact, and then the Deva Prapancha is belief. We have three things: fact, belief, and experience. All are represented. Like that, the whole world is in miniature in a temple. Like that we go on. And then every temple used to be so. And every temple used to have a pleasure garden called Sringara Udyana. And from there flowers and fruits used to come there. And every temple used to have devoted servants working for that. They used to get lands for that. They used to work on so many arts, so many sciences and so many crafts. They used to live on that. And we have traditions like Gramashrita Alaya and Alayashrita Grama. A temple dependent on a village, or a whole city or village depending on a temple. For example, a temple structure complex like Tirupati and Tirumala is feeding the whole Royal Simha and even many more places. And a place like town like a small hamlet like Melukote is completely dependent on Chelvaraya Swami's temple, that is the Tirunarayana of Melukote. Like that we have hundreds and thousands of such instances. Means you see so much of economy working behind that. And so many traditions are preserved there. If we lose our temples, we lose the beautiful art of carving images, carving the chariots, carving the palanquins, and decorating and wreathing the flowers. Nowhere in the world, apart from India, we have such a beautiful art of wreathing the garlands. You see many varieties of wreathing the garlands and other things. All our dances, musics and other things, they are products of that. And our food system, we can clearly boast that many varieties of foods are existent because of the temple tradition. Here I have to specially mention and remember Bhagavad Ramanujacharya and his tradition. The best temple tradition is practiced and preserved even today in the Pancharatra and Vaikhanasa Agama tradition, especially belonging to Ramanuja school of philosophy. There, according to the avatara, especially in the Sri Vaishnava tradition, Archavatara is one avatara. God takes many incarnations, and one is Leela avatara. Like, according to his Leela, something like Narasimha taking an incarnation of Narasimha, that is Leela avatara. Amshavatara, Rama is one Amsha of Mahavishnu. Or Purnavatara, that is Krishna. Or Nimittavatara, Matsyavatara for one Nimitta. Or else Nityavatara, like he has in the Vaikuntha Narayana or Paravasudeva. Or else another Nitya Vibhuti Avatara, the Narada, Sanat Kumara, Sanasujatiya, Sanaka, Sanandana, like that. Or else we have the Aveshavatara, Parashurama, and then Nimittavatara. The Archavatara in the form of image, taking an avatar, like that. Means that way the beauty of temple tradition is manifolded. And even the ritual tradition of Yajna also, it's very, very much wonderful. The whole process of creation and deluge are represented there. In an Yajna, Yajna Mantapa is built. Before that, the whole Yajna land is plowed, Bhushuddhi. And then the seeds are sown, Ankurarpana, that is Bijavapa and Ankurarpana, and they are sprouted. And even in temple tradition, when we have the Tirunal, as we call Brahma Utsava festival, and even in any household ritual also, we may remember, in villages even today it's practiced, seeds are sown and they are germinated, and that is taken, Ankuras. It is creation. the progeny, the genesis is very, very important feature. And from the anthropological view, we can support that. But the wonder is the creation. And then the whole yajna goes on. Everybody come there. The creation is sustained. And then last, all the utensils and other things are thrown into water. And even the priests, the ritviks, they plunge into water, indicating deluge. And that is called avabhrita. And the last Homa is done in the waters itself. Avabhriteshti. Like that. And before practice of any yajna, the Yajamana comes. I think I had told once that he should be deathless. He should be anrana. Like that I had told. And then the Ritviks come. And then they work together. Then they will be having different names. All that I told already. But there, if the Ritviks among themselves, if they had any difference of opinion and fights, they pledge that till the end of the sacrifice, we will all be friends and we work together. And that is a beautiful indication in the Vedika yagas, Shrauta yagas. And for that we have a special Ishti itself. The name is very beautiful. Now I am not getting that name. Then at the end of the yaga, when once the yaga is over, we shall come back to our reservations like that. They make one yajna, so one small ishti called Sneha Visarjana ishti, and they drink small quantities of curds, Dadhi Prashana. And they even go with a mock fight. Means after the whole thing, we are ourselves like that. That we are of a beautiful enactment of a drama is there. So, Srishti, Sthiti and Pralaya, the deluge, and the whole Yagashala is set on fire. So, it is complete. And again, we go on with that. And even in the temples also, we have starting from Ankurarpana, Dhvajarohana, and then the whole 8 days or 10 days of Brahmotsava. And at the end, Avabhrita Snana, taking the god and other things. Along with that, they go to the temple pond, Pushkarni, and then they plunge there, and that is called Avabhrita. Like that, the whole celebration is there, and the cycle of Srishti Sthiti Pralaya is there. Why? You just take the Ganesha festival itself as an example. In the Upanishads it is said how creation came. From the Pranava, we have the Akasha, the space, and from there came the wind, Vayu, and from there came the fire, and from there is the water, and from earth, Agnyarapaha, Adbhya Prithvi, Prithviya Voshadhiha, Voshadhibhyo Annam, like that. And from the earth came the plants, and from the plants the animals and man, like that. So, from the waters of the lake, we take out the clay. From water, clay, earth. That is how Adbhya Prithvi, Ganapati is done. And it is taken and worshipped, and again it is immersed, drowned. The immersion happens in the lakes. We have our childhood memories, Chikkere ledda, Dodkere bidda. What it means? Chikkere, from the little pond, he took his shape, Adbhya Prithvi. Ganapati is Prithvistaniya Deva, as it is called in the Yoga Shastras. And he is the god of the Mooladhara Chakra, again representing Prithvi. And then going back, Dodkere, Chikkere bidda, Dodkere yedda. Means going back to the waters like that. Again we see the cycle of Srishti Sthiti Laya. Means trying to tune myself with the cosmic cycle of creation, sustenance and deluge. Means this is an eternal cycle, it repeats. I should become a spectator and try to enjoy this as a connoisseur of art. So this Sakshi Bhava is triggered often and often, and that's the beauty which we see in any ritual. So ritual should never be shunned, but try to operate in a meaningful manner without disturbed too much, without being disturbed too much. Many times the rituals become a great agony and suffering for unable to understand the meaning of it and trying to be just letter oriented. If you take the spirit and do some essential things and having kept some space, lung space for enjoyment, it can all be made wonderful. These are some of the features found in the Agamas. Each topic is so big and so vast and so deep and so variegated Not one lecture, not even one session. One lifespan is not sufficient to completely cull out. I'm only giving hints here and there. Now, I shall go back to the whole scheme of 18 Vidyasthanas, because since yesterday and even before that, in the last meeting, I started the Ashtadasha Vidyasthanas, and some amount of detailing then and there I gave. Something I didn't give, for example, Vedas. I never gave any details of the Vedas. A few details may be needed. I know it is a very, very futile task to give any detail, which is almost impossible, but try to do some justice so that an approach is given. I told about the 4 Vedas and the 4 parts in every Veda, the Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, the 4 parts, and Rig, Yajus, Sama, Atharva, the 4 Vedas. And I told about the nature of Rig, Yajus, and Saman, the Gadya, Padya, and Gitatmakata. And also, hymns are essentially devotion oriented. Naturally, praise means glorifying, eulogizing a personality can be manifolded, but wisdom cannot be. That's why in the Vedas we have maximum amount of hymns devoted to praising of the gods. Why? Because one can be praised in hundreds of ways, but wisdom is always distilled in nature. See, water is H2O. You cannot say in other way, but we use water for so many things, you can say, and that's why we are indebted to water like that. Picking out every use of water and saying we are grateful to you, it can be told in thousands of ways. Like that, appreciation can be done in thousands of ways, but distilled understanding is only in a limited manner as far as the quantity goes. That's why jnana is always, jnana marga is short and sweet. Bhakti marga is sweet and wide. That is the difference. And hence, bhakti, it is said, easier path. But true bhakti is no way different from jnana, and it is very difficult. But however, we can be within that arena. You can feel Krishna throughout the Bhagavata. But the concept of Krishna, that is the absolute consciousness, is in one word. Likewise, the Samhitas have very many hymns on different gods. And the gods, again, they are natural forces, people say, modern scholars especially. That is at the Adibhuta level. And at the level of Adidaiva, they are the gods. They have their own mythology. And at the Adhyatma level, at my own self. I told, quoting from the story of God entering into different gods entering into different parts of the body from Aitareya Upanishad, that itself will serve. And in the Purusha Sukta, the famed Sukta, one among the Suktas of creation, and the Sukta used in so many day-to-day rituals also, one of the wonderful passages in the whole range of Vedic literature, there it is said, the Paramapurusha sacrificed his own self and the whole world is created. Said that Purusham Abadhan Pashum, that is said in the Vedas. The God himself became the Pashu, the sacrificial animal, and he was sacrificed. Yajnena Yajnamayjanta Devaha, like that. By sacrifice itself, the sacrifice was established. What it means, the God is the seed of the universe. A seed is sown and it becomes a tree. Where is that seed? Seed is dead. Can we call seed is dead? We cannot say. Seed manifested into tree. Likewise, Paramapurusha became the seed of the universe and he is the tree. And in the Vedas we have many motives. One is Vriksha, other is Samudra, the third one is Akasha, and the fourth one is Agni. Like that, there are certain images, motives, they repeat, they occur again and again. We have to understand in this sense, the chakra, like that. That is the Vedic metaphysics, Vedic imagery. if you are interested in that, you can refer to the book of Henry Zimmer. And we have a few more additions seen in Swami Harshananda's book, A Concise Encyclopedia of Hinduism. But not all books are sufficient to understand the symbolism of Sanatana Dharma. Well, but these books do a lot of help in that. Now coming back to the karma, bhakti, jnana and other things and adhibhuta, zaiva aspects of the Vedas, I told that Brahma, Paramapurusha, Paramatma becoming the seed and tree of the world. This is how we have the internalizing of that, then we have the Adhyatma. Means my eyes are the Surya, my ears are the directions, Digdevatas, my mind is Chandra. So, at the level of experience, that is Adhyatma. Adhyatma is experience. When I think of my mind, at the physical level, it is moon. And that's why, if my mind is not all right, they call me as lunatic. According to the change in the lunar orb, our mind changes. So, that is the relationship at the physical level. Physical level, it is moon. And at the spiritual level, at the level of Adhyatma, it is my mind. And at the level of theology and mythology, Deva, Chandra is a god and is son of Atri and Anasuya. And he also emerged from churning of the Milky Ocean. And he is called Somaraja. And he is the god and the protector of plants and other vegetative creation. And he is the life-saving elixir, Somarasa. And he is the crest jewel of Shiva. Like that, so many stories have been developed. See, to internalize the concept of moon, all are essential. To internalize the concept of mind, all are essential. The stories are very, very important. Artists have great lot of use from these stories. That's why I think one or two dancers are present here. I don't see any dansus. One of my dance friend is there, Nirupama. She is very fond of paving a wonderful career in dance and becoming a very, very rememberable danseuse. But the problem with my good friend is, she is not at all studying these mythological stories. And this is not my friend Nirupama's problem. Many, many dancers' problem. They know no stories of our mythology. If they know only at the lip level, not at the level of heart. They should understand that. They should feel it. Even Padma Subramaniam can do that. Padma Subramaniam is only one person who is very well rooted in our tradition, starting from the physiology to the level of spirituality. And that's why she could bring out so much of beauty into it. Not just physical gyration, dance. All dancers are doing that. That is how our poets should work out. The poets nowadays, they don't have any themes because they have shunned mythology. See, Christianity could not create one poet. Even a poet like Dante has to take, at least for the Inferno, Virgil as the guide. People who know Dante's Divine Comedy, they know that Dante's Divine Comedy has 3 books: Inferno, Purgatory, and then Paradiso. The best portion is Inferno, hell, because hell is a very interesting life. All interesting people are in hell. Dull and gloomy people, pious people of no use, no kara, no huppu, no kara, huli, all people stay in heaven. Heaven is bald, very flat. Hell is very, very interesting, romantic. But coming to the serious aspect of that, he has seen non-Christians in hell. Dante is such a committed Catholic. Homer, Virgil, Sophocles, Euripides, Aristotle, Pericles, all great luminaries of non-Christian world, they were placed in hell because they are no Christians. They are not Christians, and that's why all people are kept in hell. But Christians are kept in heaven. And that's why heaven is disinteresting, uninteresting. It is true because in the work of Dante, Paradise, Divine Comedy, the first book is the most interesting book, most poetic, artistic book. The rest are not, because it's completely based on Christian theology, not on human feeling. Christianity could not give, because its mythology is very, very insignificant, and it cannot take any liberty in mythology. See, we can take so much of liberty. Any canonical religion cannot allow people to take liberty in mythology. That's why you see, a Dvaitic mind, sorry if I am hurting anybody, a true Dvaitic mind means a hardcore prescriptive religion, not in the sense of Madhvacharya Dvaita, but it is also included. It can't create art. Because in art we have to uplift something, we have to lower something, all these things. Utkarsha and Apakarsha is very, very essential. See, I remember one scholar of Dvaita, he said Kalidasa is Kukavi. Kalidasa is a very bad poet, because Kalidasa has blamed Narayana Rishi as Vedabhyasa Jada. Kalidasa in Vikramorshi is saying, Pururava is enamored by the beauty of the celestial nymph Urvashi and says, that wretched Brahma, the old man, always indulged in reading the Vedas, could not create such a wonderful lady. Only Lord of Love, Manmatha, or the Lord of Night, Moon, or the Lord of Spring season, Vasanta, could create such a beauty, and not that Vedabhyasa Jada. It's making a poetic fancy, not blaming Brahma, or not blaming Narayana Rishi. Narayana Rishi, he created by slapping on his thigh Urvashi, that is the Puranic story. But that particular scholar, Prabhanjanacharya, is so canonical, he can't appreciate the poetry of Kalidasa. He can only adhere to the canonical rules of Madhvacharya and the Purana. So, a prescriptive religion cannot create art. Islam, has it produced any great poet? Islam, has it produced any great painter? Christianity, you just see medieval Christian art, it's so boring. Only after Renaissance they shifted. No beautiful sculpture, because any prescriptive religion, for that matter, you just take Veerashaiva religion. It's very prescriptive in spite of all that philosophy, and that's why it could not create any temple. Stavara Kalivuntu, Jangama Kalivella, they shunned temple culture. But they built mutts. Another brick and mortar institution. See, Hinayana Buddhism, it could never grow because it could never create mythology. And Mahayana created that. And Jains, in spite of all Tirthankaras, they brought all the Yakshas and Yakshis. So also the Buddhists, all the Hindu gods and goddesses, they became Yakshas and Yakshis, assisting the Jain Tirthankaras and Buddhist Bodhisattvas. This is needed, and we have to take liberty. If not, art cannot be generated. This is also very, very important. Why I am saying all these things? The mythological dimension at the light of spirituality is very, very essential for an artist. And modern days, what has happened? The communists, they don't appreciate religion. And that's why communism has not produced any great art. In word, or in matter, or in music. Nothing it has produced. Because communism is also Christianity without Christ, or Islam without Allah. Like that, you just see, to become poet, one has to be rooted well in humanism, human feelings, not just humanism of the materialistic interpretation. So, in the Vedas, we have maximum allocation for the gods because it should become raw material for art, raw material for human feeling. And that is seen very beautifully here. And see how the people become mean. I shall give one more example. Kalidasa in his Raghuvamsha has given one beautiful instance where Dilipa will be protecting cow. And then the cow wanted to test, the divine cow Nandini wanted to test his commitment to protection. So it creates an illusion that a lion will be coming and it will be bouncing on the cow and it's about to be killed. Then Dilipa himself comes, you please kill me. Before that, he makes all futile attempts to kill by shooting an arrow, the lion. Then the lion says, Alam mahi pala tavashramena pratyuktam apyastra mitho vratasyat na padaponmulana shaktiramhaha shilochaye murchati maratasya. O king, enough of all your futile efforts to kill me. A wild wind may be capable enough of derooting a tree, but it becomes a miserable failure in front of a mountain. Wind will be of no use. Vadiraja, coming from the lineage of Madhvacharya, he writes a beautiful poem called Tirtha Prabandha. And while describing Ramasetu, he says, it is said by Kalidasa that wind cannot do anything on a mountain. That is an idiot's word. Because our Vayu, Madhvacharya's Purva Avatara, is so capable that his Avatara Hanuman could pull out the mountains and build this Ramasetu. It's a beautiful expression. But behind that, our Madhvacharya Vayu's Avatara should never be questioned. Kalidasa saying that wind cannot do anything against a mountain is against the tenet of Madhva philosophy. Like that, the poet Vadiraja takes. Means, when we become addicted to and become slaves to religion, we can't create art. At the same time, if we shun religion, we can't create art. This balance should be taken care of. See, once it so happened, I was asked to perform Avadhan. Many times it has happened in Sringeri. The condition was all poems should be on Shankara. See, can Shankara dance with girls to bring out Sringara? Can Shankara fight against people with sword and shield? Veera? Not possible. Means with Shankara, what beautiful poetry can be written? I have immense respect for Shankara or Madhva or whosoever. But what they cannot be done, taking them as subjects, how I can write beautiful poem? It's impossible. This is, even in Advaita or in Dvaita or whatever, if it becomes prescriptive, this is the problem. But fortunately in Sanatana Dharma, we always have an internal correction, internal rebellion attitude. Even in the Vedas, we find that. And so all the meanings of the Vedas have to be kept intact. If not, we lose much of the spirit. But at the same time, we should be careful enough. Here I remember the words of Gopal Krishna Adiga. He says, Hogi barte najja, ನಿನ್ನ ಪಾದಧೂಳಿ ನನ್ನ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರಲಿ, ಆದರೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಬೀಳದಿರಲಿ. Bye bye, grandpa. May your dust of the feet shall be on my head. May your dust be on my head, but it shall not fall into my eyes. This is how we should always have a safer distance with beliefs. But we should believe. This is the spirit with which we have to look at the Vedas and Vedic sections or anything on that. And that's why belief and mythology, they play a vital role and maximum space is provided for that. And this should never be ignored and this should never be shunned. And then we have the limited number of mantras meant for jnana. Why I am saying this? Many times the so-called modernists, they do a lot of injustice. For example, the Arya Samajis. They did great lot of service to restore the Vedas. But Dayananda Saraswati, he shunned all the religious practices of the yajnas. Yajna meaning the religious and the mythological meaning of the Vedas should be derooted and spiritual meaning should remain. And he tried to forge spiritual meaning to every mythological hymn. See, spiritual meaning is in one line. Again and again, all the 10,552 mantras in the Rigveda Samhita should be given spiritual meaning. Means what? Oh God, give me cows, you give me goats, you give me sheep, so that I shall lead a comfortable life. Is it wrong? If I demand for a good home and good vehicle from God, is it wrong on my part? Why you should try to pull out spiritual meaning? Home means not this, something eternal. Vehicle means not, that is jnana. Like that. To everything, if I want to say like that, it is something stupid. To any utterance, you have to say spiritual meaning. I can do that. Sanskrit language so malleable, any meaning can be imposed on that. Once I was coming from Pune along with my friends after performing Hamlet in Sanskrit, and I did the role of Polonius there, Polonius, a very cranky character which I loved very much. And on the way, we were discussing about the malleability and the possibility of misrepresenting Sanskrit to any level. Then one of my friends said, then why can't you do some crazy interpretations to Vishnu Sahasrama? Well, those days Veerappan was in hype. I tried to give out the meaning of Vishnu Sahasramam in tune with Veerappan's achievements. And when I was a student of Institute of Science, I wrote one mock bhashya on the Brahma Sutras, taking 555 sutras are there according to Shankara. I took only 55 sutras, and like Shankara's Shariraka Bhashya, I wrote Samshodhana Bhashya. The whole purpose of Brahma Sutra is to get a PhD. How to get a PhD? Atato Brahma Jignasa. From now, because of that, we shall think of Brahman. That is the meaning. Brahma means Brihi Vriddho, the biggest thing. The highest degree in any university is PhD. And we shall meditate upon that. Atha, now, after that. Atha, because of that. Why because of that? Because I didn't got any job. I was nowhere taken care of, so I have nothing but this job of working for PhD. As we say in IIT, one professor said, our main product is degree, byproduct is masters, and waste is PhD. So, and then last sutra, Anavritti Shabdat, having realized Brahman, you will not repeat the cycle of birth and death. That is the meaning of it. Having taken degree, PhD, you will never be indulging in Samshodhana research again and again. Nobody will challenge to do any, for no more degree is available. That is the meaning of that. Like that, we can interpret anything in any way. So, one should not be obsessed with spiritual meaning like that. If we start shouting, it's bald, it's colorless, tasteless, odorless. Distilled water means distilled water, no more thing. But colored water, tasty water, fragrant water can be in billions of ways, is it not? That's why no obsession, ekamulika prayoga, one medicines to all diseases means it is death. One should not go for that. With that background, we have to see the Vedas. We shall do so in the next week. Thank you.